What's up, everybody? It's your boy Caesar here, back here again with a new series I like to call Back to the Future. And it's nothing like the actual movie Back to the Future. It's basically going to the future and me reviewing all of the '90s and like early 200s cartoon shows, all them old shows that more that we all used to go, grew up and loved and watched and all that stuff. Nostalgia, it's more of a nostalgia purpose. But today's video is about Ed, and Eddy. If you don't know that show, you're not a '90s kid. If you don't like that show, I don't know what to say. Same thing, you're not a '90s kid. 'Cause that show, it's funny. It's about it's about three guys, and Eddy, he is the short one. He's my favorite. He's the one that always come up with the schemes to try to or scams, my bad. He always want to come up with the scams and try to always take the other kids' money. It always be quarters. They deal with dollars, but mostly it's always quarters. In the Kovac kids, which is Sarah, Jimmy, Naz, Rolf, Kevin, Johnny, and Plank. Kevin, like in the early seasons, he always called them dorks. I mean, and then Ed, which is like the tall one that wears the green jacket, always be like dorks, and it's like it's funny though. He's like dorks, and it's funny though. And then you got Double D, which is the one. He's the one that creates. Though he's the one that he creates what Eddy wants. Like Eddy comes up with the schemes, and Double D is the one. He's the one that creates everything. He's the smart guy of the group. And the thing about him is that he always wears that hood. And what's funny is that we never got to see his actual head. And there was one episode where their parents had left, and so Eddy and Ed basically went on like a no rules. They went crazy with like no rules. And WD, he was a person like, we can't have a good society without rules. And then what they did, they took his hat and they tied it around the lamp. And with WD, I think he fell and his hat came off, and they all saw his head, but we still didn't get to see it. So by their expression, I'm thinking WD must be bald or something, or have like a messed up haircut, because they was surprised what they saw, and then WD told them not to tell nobody. I mean the show. I mean I love the show. I mean my memorable thing, the episodes that I can remember that I like. It's a lot of them, but I like I like the episode when they made Jimmy he become a sumo wrestler, and he try to make him a star to a they want to get rich, so he made him really really fat to the point he couldn't move on his own. And at the end they had it where they was going to launch Jimmy into the air to well, I don't know where it was, but they was going to go, I think, to China or something, basically to Hollywood, and they was gonna launch him to the air, and it backfired to the point that Eddy and Ed were injured in the process. And then Sarah, had Jimmy start losing the weight. Another episode I like is when Kevin was afraid of needles. In the whole episode, Eddy kept trying to scare him with the needles every he because Kevin was afraid of needles, like really afraid. And Eddy kept messing with him with that, to the point at the end where that Kevin, he decided to get him back, and to the point, yeah, dang, I think what Double D did was that he made it where he helped him with his fear, I think. But I know towards the end when they had like a big needle, and then when they was poking him in the arm, it didn't scare him no more, and then he beat him up, and then had it with Eddy, he had to get a shot, and he had to get a needle, and Eddy was afraid, and Kevin started laughing at the end. Another episode I like is when they built this one area into like a New York town, and a bunch of cardboard people, and like Plank ended up leaving Johnny because I guess the town, what they say, took control of him, to where Johnny kept looking for him. I mean, I mean, they treat it like a city. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had with dang, Eddie, not Eddie, dang, Ed was giving people tattoos. He gave Johnny a tattoo of a cobra on the side of his head, and he was drawing a tattoo on the back of Kevin's back of a corn on the cob. Yeah, but was one thing about the end at the end of the episode is when they had he was Two Faced on Plank. He obviously he got one face on the front, but then when they were driving away on the little wagon on the back was another face. So I'm thinking, what's that mean? Was that supposed to mean Two Face? Then you got the Kanker sisters, which you got Marie. Marie's the yellow hair one. She likes Ed. Um, yeah, I forgot these girls' names by heart. It's Marie. Let me look at the Kanker sisters. Well, basically, yeah, all three of them like Ed. Cause all three of them has they like the individual Eds. So you got you got Lee, which is I believe she's the orange hair one, and she like Eddy. And you got Marie, who's the yellow hair one, and let me see, Lee. Wait, why is it only two of them? They only have two of their names. Let me, because they first appeared in the episode of Nag to Ed when when all three of them had went into they went into a forest and they got their clothes all messed up, and that's how they first encountered them. And the girls, they immediately became upset. They fed them, and then Eddie decided, you know what? Hey, they fed us. Time for us to go. The girls didn't like it, and they ran out. But even after that, they still liked it on them. But and same for them is that their parents never, none of their parents don't, well, they never appeared on the screen, and the only parents to exist on screen were Eddie's dad's arm and Ed's mom's arm when the episode when WD was he was like the assistant, not assistant principal, he was helping deliver report cards for the principal, and Ed and Eddie had failed, and basically, yeah, they got in trouble for they bad grades on report cards. And throughout the whole episode, WD was trying to escape from Ed and Eddie, no, not Ed, from Ed and Eddie, so because they kept trying to get their report cards back and change the grade, so they kept trying to escape. Well, WD kept finding ways to get away from him, so he can safely give the report cards to their parents. Another episode. Let me think. I mean, it's like a lot of episodes out. It's a lot. I like all the episodes. So the newer seasons. Well, not the newer season, but the season when they were actually in school, which is like for the first time, because the whole time they wasn't even in school. So I wonder how old they are. They was like I think middle school or something, and it was like obviously they're the same people, so you kind of look at that and saying no teachers didn't appear. Let me think. With the Jawbreakers thing is that they never well the only time they actually had a Jawbreaker was like I think it's like season 1 when Johnny was accused of stealing everybody's stuff, and at the end they finally had got Jawbreakers, but they lost them because a tire came rolling down the sidewalk and hit all three of them, and they had to chase the Jawbreakers down the road or down the sidewalk. That's actually the only time they actually had a Jawbreaker, because other times they kept trying to get like Kevin. They tried to become friends with Kevin. Didn't work because his dad works at a Jawbreaker factory and have a whole shed full of Jawbreakers. That didn't work. They didn't get no Jawbreakers because I think that same episode he was giving out free Jawbreakers, but they was too late and they didn't get no free Jawbreakers. There was another episode where the school was going to like a Jawbreaker factory to get Jawbreakers, but Sarah fooled Ed into thinking that the sky was falling. So Ed was trying to protect Double D and Eddie. So and then so cause Ed, yeah, Ed, he was like I don't know, cause of the episodes she was trying to oh she they wanted to get a first they wanted to get Jimmy and Sarah ended up getting the first seats on the bus. So I guess 'cause they want to be the first people off the bus to get the jawbreakers. And at the end, again at the end they didn't the three they didn't get no jawbreakers, and Sarah and Jimmy end up was freaking fat because they had like so many jawbreakers. Another episode, Ed he had a subscription where he only had two jawbreakers, and it took him like I think a whole day to figure out that two does not go into three, cause three of them obviously, and so they had to figure out a way to try to divide the jawbreakers up evenly. The first one they tried to split in half, which like it went flying through the fence and straight into it hit like Plank and John were playing football, and when it hit Plank, and basically the jawbreaker and Plank went into John's mouth, so they lost that one, and then the last jawbreaker they had a competition, which in the end they ended up losing it in the river. Um, the one thing that's good about and yo, have you seen the movie The Big Picture? The big yeah, I think it's called The Big Picture. To where Ed and Eddie they were finally accepted into the group at the end of the movie. Because to figure out they finally showed Eddie's brother, and he was a douche. He was a douche, and they finally because Eddie again they never told us what scheme he did that made them all mad at him. But from looking at their injuries and all that type of stuff, he did a scheme. They were hurt really bad. I mean, he did I guess a really big scam, and it had to the point because they never actually told us what the scam was about. But they were mad at him. They chased him throughout the whole movie. And then Eddie was like, you know what? I'm finna, to get away from all y'all, I'm finna go see my big brother. He gonna protect me. So Eddie, he met up with his brother, and his brother again was a douche, treated him like crap. Cause the whole time Eddie kept, he kept talking big about his brother. My brother, man, he, all that type of stuff. Yeah, my brother, he didn't say, my brother, he's rich, he's tough, he got all this cool stuff, and you know what I'm saying, which ended up, Eddie was lying. He apologized to the guys, to the other kids, and they beat up they beat up his brother, and they finally was accepted into the group, which that was like technically that's the series finale, because that's actually a good way to end off the series though. But overall, Ed and Eddie was an awesome cartoon, funny. I give if I had to go 1 out of 5 stars, I give it a 4, get a 4.5. But that's if you like the video, click the like, leave a comment in the comment section below, share, subscribe. But I'm gonna keep doing these videos. Even what I'm saying. So if you want to tune in, hey, you want to subscribe, if you want to see more of these reviews. But hey, I catch you guys. But hey, it's your choice. Catch you guys later. Deuces.